What's the deal?
Classic World of Warcraft has a serious problem. It's getting worse, and there is no reason to think that things will improve, because this problem stems from the very people responsible for the game, Blizzard Entertainment. So what is this problem? The short answer is monetization, and how it drives Blizzard's game development philosophy. But to explain why this is such an issue, we need to dig a little deeper, and that means taking a trip back in time all the way to 2004 and the launch of World of Warcraft, and a very different era of gaming.
That's right. You want to know something weird? When World of Warcraft came out, World of Warcraft was like exclusively for middle class, upper middle class, rich people. You didn't really have poor people playing World of Warcraft because in 2004, 2005, even 2006, in order to play World of Warcraft, you had to have a desktop computer, internet connection, oftentimes a high-speed internet connection. This was still kind of the era of dial-up. In fact, the first 2 years of WoW, I played dial-up. But you had to have internet connection, internet service, desktop computer. The game was, I think WoW was $30 when it came out, but it was a $15 monthly fee. And that was unheard of. In 2004, 2005, $15 a month to play a video game? What? And so there was a huge like socioeconomic barrier preventing some people from playing WoW. WoW was really only a certain demographic of gamer. It was like a middle class or upper middle class type of game. That's true. Goated. There's that bear. Damn.
Back in the early 2000s when WoW was being developed, online gaming was very much in its infancy. Yes, MMOs like EverQuest, Asheron's Call, and Ultima Online had existed for years by this point, and other genres had captured their own gaming audience too, with titles such as Unreal Tournament, StarCraft, and Counter-Strike. Still, this was a far cry from today's era, where online gaming is arguably the default way of playing for many.
Yep.
WoW came out years before the rise of Call of Duty and League of Legends, not to mention the popular games of the last decade like Fortnite, and hell, even Minecraft is young compared to WoW. And the relevance of this is that it helps to explain why early WoW was monetized so differently to the online games of today, including modern retail World of Warcraft. So at launch, World of Warcraft made its money in two ways. Firstly, you had to actually buy the game, and as far as I'm aware, you did have to physically buy the game, as in, go to your local game.
So, look at that thumb. Wow, that is a thick thumb. Anyway, so the first version of WoW that you could download from the WoW launcher was Wrath of the Lich King. But for TBC and for vanilla, you had to actually buy the discs, and oftentimes there were like 4 or 5 different discs. Yeah.
Game shop, find a lovely boxed copy, pay for it, and come home. Now I did say prepare for some nostalgia with this video, and I'm sure all of us older players have that sweet memory of the day we bought WoW. I was only 13 myself, and I went with my mum to go and get it. Afterwards we went to a nearby cafe and I spent about 40 minutes yapping my head off to her about all the cool adventures I was going to go on, and how I was going to tame this Yeti as my hunter pet. Honestly, being a kid is such a magical experience, and that memory is an absolute treasure to me. I know I'm getting older, but the days of buying boxed copies of video games from a shop, man, you didn't always strike gold, but when you did, awesome feeling.
And if you're playing WoW back in the day, you have to have not just the game itself, you have to have what? The official Brady Games game guide. You have to have the Brady Games game guide. Otherwise, you're gonna be a noob. If you don't have the game guide from Brady Games, you're gonna be a big time noob. That's embarrassing.
So, as I've said, the first method of monetization was actually buying the game itself. The second form of monetization is one we all know well, because it's remained consistent over the last 20 years of WoW: the subscription. Every month, WoW players fork out money to play the game. It says a lot about how different the world was in the early years of Warcraft that many of us had to practically take debating classes in order to convince our parents that paying a monthly online fee for their child to play a video game wasn't a recipe for disaster. In my case, I was only allowed to play WoW if I bought game time cards from the shop, and I did this for years before I switched to pay.
Kind of related story. So the first MMO, the first online game that I played that had a monthly fee, it was RuneScape. And it was about a year or so before WoW came out. So this is like 2003. I'm playing RuneScape. I learned about RuneScape from some friends of mine in elementary school, and they were talking about it at class one day. And I came home, and I don't know, what am I, 8 or 9 years old? How old are you in the third grade? Anyway, come home and I talked to my dad. Dad, can I play RuneScape? And he said, oh, what is it? Well, it's an online game, and there's other people, and you're like a knight, and you're a wizard, and you run around, and you do stuff. You kill goblins. I don't know. Let me call your friend. So my dad called my friend's mom. Her name was Liz. And I remember I was standing next to him. It's like after school on a Tuesday evening. And he called Liz. And I was so embarrassed. Like, Dad, please don't call Liz. This is so embarrassing. He called her. And he said, hey, Liz, my son here was asking about this online game. It's called RuneScape. And he said there's other people. It's on the internet. Yeah, my boys are playing that. Well, I'm just worried, is my son going to be talking to pedophiles and stuff on this thing? And she said, well, I don't think that my boys have been talking to any pedophiles. He said, okay, well, I guess we'll give it a try. But anyway, that was his one question. Are there going to be pedophiles and stuff on this thing?
Paying online. But once you'd figured this stuff out, you had your game. And Blizzard had about as much money as they could reliably squeeze out of you, short of releasing the next boxed expansion. A one-time fee for the boxed copy, and a monthly subscription. That was it. And you know what? It worked really well. Or so we thought. You see, whilst WoW was soaring in the West, growing an audience of millions and playing a pivotal role in the development of online gaming culture, other important innovations were taking place in the East, particularly around monetization. Now, the concept of microtransactions in video games is so widespread now that it feels pointless even explaining it, but back in the days of vanilla WoW, it was essentially unheard of in the West. Some say that MapleStory was the first Eastern MMO to incorporate microtransactions into its monetization. But whatever the case may be, over time, the notion that there were more ways to make money from an online game than the initial purchase price and or subscription fee started to filter its way westward. And it's hardly surprising that these ideas took root as more and more online games followed in WoW's footsteps, carving out their own loyal audiences online as the companies behind them grew and grew.
This is
World of Warcraft's history of microtransactions really begins in the Wrath of the Lich King expansion,
thank you very much.
Which is ironic considering that there were more concurrent players then.
This is true, Antron. Thank you very much. Do you remember the day that they added the Celestial Steed? That was a dark day. Little did we know it, but that was the end of an era. Well, it was the beginning of a new era. The day the Celestial Steed was added in Wrath, it was the beginning of the end. In fact, I remember, like, people were losing their minds. I remember people were having protests. There was like a giant, like hundreds of players RP walking in a circle, walking around Dalaran, chanting and screaming. No, it was... I don't even remember what they were saying, but anyway, people were mad. People were fucking mad that they were adding the Sparkle Pony. They called it the Sparkle Pony, the Rainbow Pony, the Celestial Steed to the game.
That at any point before or since, meaning more boxed copies of the base game plus its 2 first expansions being purchased, and more monthly subscribers paying to play the game. I say this because it's important to remember that as much as one might argue that increased monetization of a game is necessary if the team is expanding and producing more content, Wrath, TBC, not to mention the massive vanilla WoW itself, I mean, are we really going to suggest that they had less investment and therefore less content than, say, Warlords of Draenor? Please. At first, the microtransactions in WoW were very micro indeed. Paid game services like name and server changes had been around for some time, but it was the inclusion of the Celestial Steed mount added to the new cash shop in April 2010 that really marked the beginning of a new era. But honestly, none of us really cared that much at the time. It's important to remember that the culture of players was
I remember a lot of people really caring. No one cared enough to quit. People weren't quitting over it. But there were big protests. The people were rioting in downtown Dalaran.
somewhat different back
They
then.
were.
Experienced players weren't interested in flying around on a store-bought mount. They wanted Invincible or the time-lost Proto-Drake, something which would show off their skill and dedication to the game. So if you were seen on a store mount back then, all that it indicated to many of us was that you were either new or bad at the game, not that you had something cool. Blizzard even acknowledged this themselves by adding an NPC to the Cataclysm expansion later that year called Johnny Awesome, a blood elf in Hillsbrad foothills who would proclaim his skill and experience, all the while riding a celestial steed named Twinkles and annoying everyone around him. It's ironic that Blizzard would mock a type of player that they were actually beginning to tailor the game for, but really this just goes to show how easy it was for the
And what is he? He's a male blood elf rogue, it looks like.
company to introduce these cosmetic microtransactions. It was a joke, one they themselves were able to acknowledge, and as usual, something which would go on to define the game was allowed to quietly slip in without any real resistance. We've seen this with so many features in WoW, but I doubt when we look back in the years to come, anything will have had as much of an impact as microtransactions, and now
Well, okay, I think this is what has been observed, right? Real quick graph here, okay? This seems to be the case. Okay. Let me label my axes here. This is let me see, this is oh fuck, actually hold up, hold up. How the fuck are we gonna do this? Because I need the variable on the x-axis to be duplicated on the y-axis, and I need a z-axis variable also, and then a common denominator carried over to the y. Oh fuck. Oh fuck. Listen. Oh fuck. Okay, listen. Listen to me. Listen. Hey. Listen. Okay, listen. As Blizzard is making more money, they're microtransacting even more. The player base is going down. They're making more money from fewer people. So you can say, I'm going to protest, I'm going to unsubscribe. Okay, the microtransactions, the WoW token, whatever the fuck. This is the needle, the camel that broke the camel's back. Listen, the camel's back is broken. Okay, I'm unsubbing. It doesn't matter because the people that stay are the type of people that spend way more money. So fewer people than ever, but more money than ever.
oh, I'm honestly wondering, how
my
many
God.
celestial steeds did Blizzard manage to sell because dumb teenagers
lot.
thought Johnny Awesome was actually funny?
Yeah, probably
You know
a lot.
what? I don't want to know.
A lot.
Since
Whales?
2010,
Called whales.
microtransactions in WoW have gradually increased with each expansion. More cosmetic items, more mounts, and more services too. Mists of Pandaria was the first expansion to introduce the level boost, allowing players to bypass what was at the time a long and somewhat tedious leveling process, all
What is the implicit... I mean, it's not even implicit, it's very explicit. What is the explicit message of a level boost? It's saying, listen, our leveling process in our MMO is so worthless. It's not formative in any way ever, it is so inconsequential, the leveling process, that we're going to let you pay to skip it. It is so unnecessary that we're going to let you pay to skip it.
at the low price of
I would rather just have a leveling process be necessary. I'd rather have the leveling process be an important part of the game, an important part of the character development. No.
several months worth of subscription money. And it was during the truly exceptional Warlords of Draenor expansion that Blizzard added the WoW token to the game,
Oh my
arguably
gosh.
making it pay to win in the process. If you aren't familiar, the token can be purchased for real money on the cash shop and then sold in-game for gold, which can in turn be used to pay.
Yeah, I think you can make an argument that World of Warcraft was always unofficially pay to win. WoW token made the game officially pay to win. Yeah. In a very official Blizzard sanctioned way, WoW token makes the game pay to win.
For boosts from other players through challenging endgame content. I know this sounds hard to grasp, deliberately so in my opinion, But what this means is that through a multi-step process, a player could effectively pay real money to gain access to the best gear, titles and achievements in the game, bypassing the challenge of working their way up, and, when you think about it, the very reason for playing the game in the first place. It used to be that people paid to play WoW. It was a great game, and those of us lucky enough to discover it early when we were still kids loved it. Now people pay not to have to play WoW, to skip any and all content deemed too difficult, too time consuming, or worst of all, too reliant on actually working with other players in a massively multiplayer online game. They pay to not play. Madness, I tell you. And finally arriving at the current age of retail WoW, microtransactions have become accepted, however unwillingly, as just a part of the game and the direction it's taken.
I think microtransactions in retail are not only accepted, I think they are loved. Every time I see a new mount, a new pet go up for sale in the retail shop, I see Twitter blow up, World of Warcraft Twitter blow up. You know, oh, I can't wait to buy this mount. Oh, I can't wait to buy the pet. This mount is going to go so well with my transmog. This pet is going to go, it's going to match my transmog really well. I can't wait to get it. There's a lot of hype, actually. Like, people are on the edge of the seat waiting, excited for the new mount drop or the new pet drop that's going to be added to the shop at some point.
Players are happy with it, and others have realised with grim acceptance that the cash shop simply isn't going away. I would argue personally that a big reason why Blizzard has pushed retail WoW towards a more cosmetic, collectible focused game is because it encourages microtransaction purchases. If players are mostly interested in what new cosmetics they can get on their character, if that is the mark of an accomplished player rather than their raiding and PvP achievements, or simply their social experience in the game, then why not pay real money for the new cool looking stuff, especially if this is becoming increasingly normalized as just what WoW players do. But hey, that's just one of my retail WoW conspiracy theories. But this video isn't about retail, and I can already hear you asking, Vulgrin, what does this have to do with Classic? Why is the monetization history of WoW and the current practices in retail important to Classic WoW, and why is this such a problem?
Okay.
Well, now that we've covered the history of the game, from 2004 all the way to 2024, now that you know how we got to this point, I can explain it very clearly. I don't think Classic WoW makes enough money for Blizzard. I don't think it makes enough money for them to invest the necessary resources which are required for Classic to be at its best. You know what, I'll go even further. I don't think Classic can make enough money for Blizzard to give it the resources it deserves. Not currently anyway. And for proof of this, just look at Blizzard's own claims from back in 2019 when Classic WoW first launched. Remember all your old friends who were coming back to play the game? Remember all the streamers and games journalists that were raving about how good the experience was going to be? It was a gaming phenomenon back in August 2019. And you know what? That was proven to be the case in the revenue figures. Subscriber revenue grew by 223% in August compared to the previous month. And that is a massive achievement, which is reflected in how popular Classic WoW was. It was great. But you know what's even crazier than that figure? The fact that it actually made less money than the previous year's August when Battle for Azeroth came out.
That's right.
Yeah, that same Battle for Azeroth that was considered by so many of us to be absolute trash. It still made more money.
That's right. It's not about how many people you have playing. It's about how much money you can extract from those people. Okay? It's like, I guess like I can make a... Let's use like a Twitch analogy, right? If you're trying to make money as a streamer, would you rather have 1,000 viewers and none of them sub? We'll do like a hyperbolic example. 1,000 viewers and none of them subscribe or donate ever, or 1 viewer and every month that 1 viewer donates $1 million, right? I guess if you're trying to pay your bills and make money, you'd rather have the 1 viewer that donates $1 million a month, right? And so Blizzard they're a company, they've got an income to worry about. They're trying to make money. And so for them, I think at some point they decided, listen, the key metric here is not active subscribers, it's money. The key metric is money. How much money are we making? Okay? And that's what's on their mind.
Than Classic WoW did on its launch. And ultimately, this is the best example of what I'm talking about. It is impossible for Classic to make the same amount of money that retail can, regardless of how good a product we get in either version of the game. And this is what is already leading to delays and disappointment in our current Classic projects right now.
You know what I would guess? I think Phase 4 probably got delayed because they're thinking about how they can add the WoW token. You think that's the case? Dude, imagine we get the official Phase 4 news, the announcement, and hey guys, we are adding back WoW token. No, okay, we're going to add back GDKPs. GDKPs are back, and also WoW token. Phase 4, let's fucking go. WoW token, GDKPs, Jedi, Warlock, something else to consider. There are no new places to explore on the vanilla map on SOD. I know, that's a huge failure. Even hidden areas like the Dwarven Farm always existed. Fiscal decisions, Activision policies probably preventing them from going. Normally, I don't like to do this. I don't like to give like shout outs to private servers, I guess, but what's it called? It's called Turtle WoW. Turtle WoW? How the fuck can I this? Blizzard should really seriously just hire these guys. I'm just gonna sit here with you guys for a minute and scroll. This is a private server that's like actually doing real, serious, legit Classic Plus. They're making new gear, they're making new models, they're making new zones. They're making entirely new questing areas, actual new dungeons. And I've never, like, bro, okay. I've never played Turtle WoW, to be totally honest. I've never played on this server. And I don't think I ever will. They seem to be doing a pretty fucking cool job, okay? This is a new model that they made. If a bunch of, like, private server developers can do this, why the fuck can Blizzard not do this? This looks fucking cool. This looks awesome. They're making new islands and new zones, places you've never been before. This looks fucking cool. There's a new building. They made it. They're doing all types of crazy shit. This seems fucking sick. Why can we not get this? Why do we not have this? They added ducks. They added ducks. What's the one thing that Vanilla WoW doesn't have? Ducks. Turtle WoW has fucking ducks.
Now, let me be honest, when I said that Classic WoW has a serious problem, I was talking about old school Classic WoW. I'm talking about Season of Discovery, Vanilla Era servers, and any potential TBC, Wrath, other seasonal, or perhaps even Classic Plus servers we may get in the future, because Classic Cataclysm is largely invulnerable to this problem. It has a cash shop, it has microtransactions, and as Classic continues to move through the expansions, which appears to be Blizzard's intention with this project, these microtransactions will just develop further and the shop will expand just like it did back in retail, because Classic will become retail over time.
Oh my god.
Yes, it'll always lag behind where the current retail expansion is, but the ethos, the design philosophy, and most importantly, the monetization philosophy will grow increasingly similar to that of what we have today with Retail WoW. I genuinely believe that as Classic goes through the expansions, from Cataclysm to MoP to, God forbid, Warlords of Draenor, we're heading for a somewhat dystopian future in which both retail and Classic players are buying stuff from the shop, maybe even boosts in increasingly similar versions of the game, which I'm sure if you're a shareholder with the company is...
Well, I mean, like, you can already buy boosts in Classic WoW. You've been able to buy boosts, level boosts in Classic WoW for 3 years. When TBC came out, you could buy the level 58 boost, right?
Just delightful. As a player, it sounds like a nightmare to me. How long, I wonder, before the Classic tagline is dropped in favour of something more fitting for such a retail-like game, such as remix or remastered perhaps? But what about the other Classic, the old school versions of WoW? What about the Season of Discovery players, or those who are currently crying out for fresh vanilla, TBC and Wrath servers, for a new progression through the original game? What about those who are actually setting up their own progression projects on Deviant Delight right now because Blizzard won't do it? Many will tell you that Classic WoW as a concept was always rooted in the desire to go back, to return to old pre-Cataclysm Azeroth. Yes, people were split on whether they just wanted vanilla or progression through to the end of Wrath, but there was always an understanding that the term Classic, in reference to World of Warcraft, has always referred to the original trilogy of Vanilla WoW, The Burning Crusade, and Wrath of the...
Fuck that trilogy. Fuck the trilogy. I want the, what's the word? I only want vanilla, okay? Fuck that trilogy. Fuck TBC, fuck. We want vanilla. Some of us, we want
The
vanilla.
Lich King. What are the prospects
Give
then
us
for
fresh.
these versions of the
Give
game?
it.
And, dare I
Give
say
it
it,
to me.
what about Classic Plus? And let me just say, I do wish all of those players who want to play Cada Classic, Mop Classic, Legion Classic, all the best. I don't want anyone to have a bad...
Some of us have autism. Bro, can I? Okay, I posted a tweet like 2 days ago. Hold up, let me show you here. This right here. The 4 types of classic WoW players. At the bottom here, alt levelers, people with autism. You know, I'll go through it. Parsers and speedrunners, people who would otherwise be CEOs making 10K a day, but are otherwise too addicted to the game to concern themselves with real life accomplishments. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, casual raiders, well-adjusted, respectable people with healthy social lives. Okay. PvPers, Josito Jones, people whose parents either did not love them enough or loved them way too much. And then number 4, people with autism, leveling alts over and over and over again. Just as I was going live today 2 hours ago, I went upstairs. I say, sweetie, I love you. I'm going to go live on Twitch now. Okay. I look at her computer. She's sitting at the PC. I look at the computer. You know where she was? She was in Dunmoreau. In the cave with all the Wendigos, the fucking Yetis. She's level 7. I said, what the fuck? Are you leveling another alt on Classic Era? She said, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it. Why? I don't know. I'm just in the mood. My wife, number 4. Okay, people with autism. Moving on.
time in their game of choice. More power to you. But for those of us who are primarily concerned with the older versions of WoW I just mentioned, the future looks very uncertain. Because those versions of classic WoW simply can't make money for Blizzard like retail or even classic Cataclysm can. It's crazy to think it, but Season of Discovery is actually less monetizable than vanilla WoW was back in 2004, because you don't need to buy a copy of the game to play it, just have the monthly sub, which is of course shared across all versions of WoW.
I'm gonna be honest, man. In SOD, hold up, this is Acro with the 39, thank you very much. Acro, in SOD, I would be willing to make a trade. Listen, Mr. Blizzard, listen to me. Blizzard, hello, tune in. If you start giving us actual good SOD content, okay, new zones, actual new dungeons, new zones, like actual new shit, not refurbished old shit, new shit, then fuck it. Put a mount, put a pet on the in-game shop. Nothing player power, no level boosts, nothing like that. Nothing player power related, no token, no boosts. What in the living fuck? Hooray, Hung has 69 subs on a nice Monday. Don't thank me, thank you. Don't thank me, thank you. Hooray, it is good to be back. I hope you had a good, well, no, in Sweden they have a different Father's Day. Hooray, Hung. Tuck. Hold up, when is Swedish Father's Day? Swedish Father's Day. November 10th. This is a picture of Hooray Hang. Father's Day in Sweden, 2024. Excellent. And that's a picture of Hooray Hang in the chat. Thank you very much. WW, that's him and his dad. Okay. Thank you very much, brother. Thank you very much. No, listen, I had a good Father's Day yesterday. It was great. No, okay, what I was going to say, thank you very much. Thank you. I'm defeated and I'm desperate. Blizzard, if you give us actual good SOD content, new dungeons, new raids, new zones, give us fucking something new, then put a pet or a mount on the in-game shop. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I'm not going to buy it, but fuck it. Okay, I'll be able to overlook it at least. I can ignore it as long as there's good new content, okay? And I don't know. T-Bet, thank you very much. Thank you for the 38. Thank you very much. Guys, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. It is very good to be back. I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. When is SOD Phase 4 coming out? Okay, after this video, actually,
Making it incredibly
we're going to watch, it's by the Combat Kids, another video talking about SOD Phase 4. We're going to pivot and have a big talk about SOD, okay? Let's finish the vanilla one, though. Thank you, gentlemen. Everyone, 07 in the chat. 07 right now in the chat. Let's go.
Difficult for Blizzard to be able to clearly point to a certain slice of the player base and say, those are the guys who are here purely for Season of Discovery. And don't get me wrong, this is not me advocating that Blizzard find a way to squeeze more money out of the players and incentivize work on SOD. Far from it. The reality is that despite the fun I've had in it, Season of Discovery doesn't add a whole lot new to the game. Just some revamped instances, a few events and rune abilities, which, let's face it, are almost all abilities which already exist at some point in WoW's life and have been retroactively added to Classic.
We are 8 months into Season of Discovery. We don't have a single new zone. This was kind of sold to us as Classic Plus. This is Classic Plus. As far as Blizzard is concerned, we are 8 months into SOD. Not a single new zone. Not a single actual new dungeon. We have some refurbished raids. They turned dungeons into raids. Okay. That's kind of new. Not a single new dungeon. Not a single new instance. Not a single new zone. Yeah, we got incursions, true. That's cool.
It's a fun game, no doubt.
Cool.
But the amount of new stuff really does not justify paying more as a player than we already are. And fortunately for us players, it's unlikely that Blizzard will ever add the WoW token or a cash shop to SOD, because that would completely destroy the vanilla spirit that the game is supposedly based on, doubtless turning a great number of players, myself included, off the experience completely. But this leaves them in a strange position, because no matter how well Season of Discovery performs, no matter how many people are subscribing primarily or exclusively to play it, it's practically impossible for SOD to ever be as profitable as the other game modes. All it takes is a returning retail player to purchase, alongside their monthly sub, a few cosmetic items from the store, or a character boost, possibly a server transfer or two, and before you know it, that one retail player has put more money into Blizzard's pocket in a single day than half a dozen Season of Discovery players do in a month. The same applies to Vanilla Era, Hardcore, and, should Blizzard ever listen, the fresh TBC and Wrath servers that many players are crying out for right now. And this explains to me why we don't have Phase 4 of SOD yet, why we don't have a new set of fresh Classic servers, and why such efforts have been made to subliminally encourage players to focus on CADA or Mop Remix or preparing for the war within, instead of...
I mean, that's a curious point. It's not even subliminally. Agrand on Twitter like 3 weeks ago. We could probably find this if you want. In fact, you know what? I'm going to find it. I'm going to find this. Hold up. Agrand. Okay. Where did he say this? Okay, this guy is fucking tweeting a lot. Okay, this is going to be impossible. This motherfucker tweets all day. What he said was, someone said, hey, listen, Agrand, there's not really a lot going on right now. Okay, there are military helicopters flying over my house. What the fuck are you guys doing? What the fuck? Oh, god damn, those guys are loud. Holy fuck. Okay, there's like fucking Black Hawk helicopters flying around there, motherfucker. Okay. No, what he said was, yeah, listen, right now, it might be a good time to go play other versions of WoW. He said this maybe 3 weeks ago. He said, listen, yeah, I know SOD is maybe not popping off right now. Maybe now's a good time to go play other versions of WoW. I feel like it's around... Anyway, I can't find... This guy tweets a lot. Okay, anyway, whatever.
Wondering when they'll get an update on their game and why Phase 4 for SOD seems so lackluster already despite its delay. All of it comes down to monetization, to profit margins, and Blizzard's sheer disinterest. And the worst part of all of this is that I'm certain these versions of World of Warcraft, the Era servers, Season of Discovery, Hardcore, are still very profitable. I know many players who return to the game to play SOD and have been subbed for 6 months now for that reason alone. We know millions of players worldwide returned for Classic in 2019 because they wanted to experience the joy of old WoW once more, and that 220% increase in sub revenue, that's gotta count for something, right? It would cost nothing more than maintenance fees for there to be a few new old-school WoW servers for Wrath, Era and TBC, and I don't doubt there would be tens of thousands of subbing players as a minimum who would play these versions of the game. We're seeing players organise their own server projects as we speak. Old-school WoW is still very profitable, and in 2004...
Guys, do we have any idea exactly how many people are participating in this classic fresh thing going on Divide Delight? How big is this community of classic fresh right now? Is it 2,000, 3,000, 250? Okay, how many people are in the Discord server? Divide Delight, Era, server settings. Can I see how many people? No. Okay, I cannot see how many people are in the Discord server. But there's a census section. Is there? Hold up here. Content creators picks, bot busting. Oh, okay, I see. Actually, total members 2,300. 2,300 that have like signed up in the Discord. That's what I see. Okay.
That would have been enough for Blizzard. But now, I'm not so sure. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is just a big conspiracy theory. Phase 4 of SOD will be a massive experience which paves the way for a fully developed, fully resourced Classic Plus. But honestly, I doubt it. And I'm not holding my breath. In fact, sadly for the first time in well over a year, I'm barely even playing WoW at the moment, because Blizzard, as much as you might wish it, we don't all want to play Kata or Mop Remix, and we're not all desperate to play the War Within when it comes out. I wish those players who do the very best, and I hope their gaming experience is great, but there are many of us who just want to play old school WoW, who campaigned for that version of Classic for years, and who don't want to see it die because small teams of hobbyist private server developers put more time, resources and passion into their Classic projects than you do, Blizzard. Anyway, sorry if this was a bit of a rant, guys. I've been quite frustrated with the game for some time, and the fact that despite wanting to make new content, wanting to play with my friends and you guys, I feel that Classic...
This is just the truth. How can I put this? A bunch of obsessed, autistic, vanilla WoW obsessed autistic people can get more done. Obsessed, autistic, vanilla gamers working for free can get more done than a team of normie developers getting paid 90 grand a year. And they do it for free. There you go.
Classic hasn't delivered the game environment to do that in recent months. I'm not prepared to pretend that it's all sunshine and rainbows for some perceived benefits to my YouTube channel. I'll always tell you how it is and keep the passion alive here. Let me know.
You think it's more than 90? I don't know, guys. How much does a Blizzard developer make? I have no idea. Okay, you know what? We're gonna look into that next.
What you think about the state
I'm curious.
of the game,
I have no idea.
What you're playing, and what expectations
I think
you
90
have
might be
for the
high,
future
actually.
of Classic
I think
WoW.
it's too high.
Am I being unreasonable, overly cynical, or do you agree with my appraisal of the situation?
Okay, that's a good video. It's true. Isn't it funny how they say history doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme? Okay? And Blizzard is not giving people vanilla fresh. There's a huge population, they just want vanilla fresh, and Blizzard is not catering to it. And you see the conversation is starting again. The movement is starting again. Vanilla fresh is starting again. We're going to have Mark Kern print out 60 million pages of signatures off of whatever the fuck. What's the website? Anyway, you know. Everyone's going to sign a petition. We got to have it printed off, deliver it to the Blizzard studio, give us vanilla fresh. Okay, there's a link to that video. Thank you very much. Good. I'm going to sub to that channel too.